Good morning. Forgive me a moment. I'm going to stick this on the very beginning of the video because I forgot to put it in the video. This is my last chance. A very sweet lady has asked me to help promote the Bang Tong Fun Run on April 28th. Registration closed on the 17th, but I'm sure, it's Thailand. I'll bet they let you in. If you're in South Thailand, particularly in Phang province, go to this and find an organizer and tell her you're there because Steve Rosse encouraged you to come, all right? Here's the schedule. There's a super mini marathon beginning at 5:30 in the morning and the fun run at 6 a.m. Here's a bug. If you know how to do such things, you can shoot that and get all the information. There is special accommodation discounts on hotels and restaurants for runners. Like I said, registration closed the 17th, but Steve has not done his bit. I have forgotten week after week after week to promote this for this lady. So go and tell her Steve Rosse said to come. I'd love to know if this channel has any sort of commercial potential at all, any sort of reach in the world of marketing. I'll start hawking products like nobody's business. If there's a broccoli store in Phuket that needs a sponsor, I'm your guy. So anyway, the Bang Tong Fun Run, April 28th here in Phang province. Now, on with our show.
Whatever rocks your socks, whatever spins your top, whatever winds your watch, whatever flips your flop, whatever turns you on, whatever flies your flag, whatever bangs your gong, or whatever swings your bag. Do it often, but do it well, 'cause nobody knows and there's no way to tell when the ride ends.
Good morning. Welcome back to Turtle Beach. How was your week? Mine was terrific and weird. I guess all weeks on Turtle Beach are terrific and weird. First of all, it's been hot as hell. It's been hot as hell on Turtle Beach this week. Give you a look. Another busy morning on Turtle Beach. Sometimes the madcap pace of life here makes me want to retire to someplace quiet, a beach, maybe in Thailand. But for the moment I'm here and it has been hot as hell. The green sward, sorry for that camera move, I stumbled. The green sward is a brown sward at the moment. In the rainy season, they pasture cattle here as well. And there's lush green grass. Not now. Boy, it's been hot. I don't know if I'm out here early enough to let you see the moon. Oh, it's not very dramatic on screen. It's much more impressive in person. Give you a little look at the beach, and I'm going to sit down and tell you a few things. There's a very kind of an important week for me. Here's the beach. Very calm seas. A month from now, that water will just be pounding on the sand, and it'll be right up to here. There'll be a 6-foot drop to get to the beach. Now, I have just recently taught myself, with the help of YouTube tutorials, how to edit, or at least how to cut things out. So if there's a jump here, I like to do these things in one take, but if there's a jump here, it's because I'm trying to spare you Steve's setting up the tripod. We're gonna do it right there. All right, welcome back. There's a little bit of the wind we can expect. I don't know if you can hear the surf. Every 7th wave or so, it gets loud. I've been struggling with a little upper respiratory stuff this week. But it was a weird week because I took a vow of silence on Monday. Excuse me. So I haven't really used my voice for 3 days. And I got this upper respiratory thing going on. So bear with me. Yeah, for a variety of reasons. One, my cousin Dave passed away recently. We were roughly similar age, and it's made me think, mortality is constantly tapping us on the shoulder. Dave and I grew up on the same street, eating the same foods, going to the same schools, literally the same foods. We were the same age, shared half our genes, and the poor guy for 20 years struggled with every kind of cancer known to man. He was on dialysis for 3 years at the end of his life. It was horrible. It was as if God was punishing poor Dave for something. Dave never did anything bad in his life. Dave never smoked a cigarette, never took a drink of alcohol. Dave was a good father, a good husband, a good son, a good brother. He's a sweetheart. Dave was a real sweetheart. I, on the other hand, ask anybody on YouTube, they'll tell you I'm a shit. I'm impossible to deal with, and I've made every wrong lifestyle choice you can make. And I'm still here. Same age as Dave, and I'm riding a bicycle 20 kilometers almost every morning. I'm walking on the beach every day. I am retired to Turtle Beach, Thailand. Dave never got a retirement. He got sick while he was still working. He never got a retirement. So I just wanted to mark his passing in some way. And everybody's always saying, Steve, shut up. Anyway, so I thought, okay, for 3 days, I'm going to shut up. Why 3 days? I don't know. But I'll tell you about it. I'll tell you about it here. I had some signs made for those 3 days, all right? I don't know if you can read this. Kunsativ ja bit wada. Bit wada is vow of silence in Thai. I guess monks do it enough. Wow. Maybe I should smoke another cigarette before I do this. I guess monks take vows of silence commonly enough that they've got a term for it. Bit wada. Long vowel on the ahs. Jan tung put. Monday to Wednesday. Ham rap guan. You are forbidden from being upset or annoyed by this. Ham rap guan. Not please don't be upset. No, in Asia, being upset, making waves of any kind is frowned on. So if you want to tell somebody, please don't be upset by this, you say, Hamrap Gordon, you are forbidden from being upset by this. And Kapkun Makrap, had that done in Thai by Chamnan, who doesn't like to write anything down. I think Chamnan is not a wordy literary guy. So it was really kind of him to do that. And then I wrote, I have taken a vow of silence for 3 days, Monday to Wednesday. Please forgive me for not speaking to you. Thanks. I thought about sitting on a street corner with a tin cup, see if anybody give me any money, but I never did that. So for 3 days I didn't speak. And what I discovered was that it was hardest when I was alone. I have this constant monologue going on in my head 24 hours a day. And much of it I vocalize. If I'm alone, I will talk to myself, particularly if I make a mistake. I will call myself all kinds of terrible names, including Rosse. My name is spelled R-O-S-S-E. And when I was in school, I was in 7 schools by the 7th grade. So I was always the new kid and always getting teased. And that was an easy thing for elementary school kids to seize on. Rosse, Rosie the Red. So I got in fistfights in the schoolyard over the spelling of my name. And now, and throughout my adult life, when I'm angry at myself, I call myself Rosse. Way to go, Rosse. Way to go. And with a lot of therapy and age and experience, I have cut that down. When I was a young man, I was on myself all the time. I was criticizing myself and insulting myself and calling myself Rosse all the time. And now it doesn't bother me. If somebody makes a mistake and calls me that, I don't put up my dukes right away. 66 years old, I guess I've learned something. But the thing I take away from it, from this experience of not speaking for 3 days, is that it's a lot harder when I'm alone. When somebody is there, when you're with somebody, you're conscious that you have taken a vow of silence. And you hold up your sign and you show them, and then you do this, which to some lights violates a vow of silence, communicating at all. I didn't communicate on social media for 3 days. And there were people testing me. There were a couple guys from Padia who did a little chat show, and their headline was, they put a hyphen in expat and capitalized it for no reason at all. One of my triggers. And they said, this video will give you some insight into expat life. But they spelled it incite, as in to incite a riot. I-N-C-I-T-E, not I-N-S-I-G-H-T, insight. Typically, man, I'd make 3 paragraphs out of that. I'd tell them how to spell that, because they can change it, right? They can change it. Doesn't affect their subs, doesn't affect their views, and makes them look less like a schmuck. I didn't. I swear they were testing me. These 2 old guys, they did their headline that way just to piss Steve off. I resisted. I didn't comment on that. I didn't comment on Facebook. I didn't comment anywhere. But in 3 days, other than Kun Chamnan, who comes every day, twice a day, to make sure I'm still alive, he's got my son's phone number, for the day. Inevitably, he shows up, and Steve's stretched out on the floor with his last cigarette still smoldering in his fist, having had his 3rd STEMI heart attack. And, Chamnan knows that's his role. He'll do other things around the house. But basically, he's there to make sure Steve's alive and to notify the authorities when I'm not. He understood the first day I wasn't going to speak. I think he took it as a blessing, an early Christmas gift, and just took it in stride. He just went about his business, and I think he preferred it. But other than Chamnan and the delivery guy from Lazada, the only people I had, because I stayed home for 3 days, I didn't go anywhere. Chamnan went and shopped for tools and latex caulk for me, and I went to the ATM at night when I wouldn't meet anybody, because I didn't want to hold up my sign downtown to 50 people and say. So I stayed home, and in that time, only 1, 2, 3, 4 people came to my door in 3 days. Now the first one, she came twice, or I met her twice. First morning, Monday morning, I get up at 4:30 like I always do, because my body still thinks I got to get up and drive to El Paso to go to work. It's a 90-minute drive. So every morning, 2 years after retirement, every morning I get up at 4:30, ready to go to work, and have breakfast, check my email, smoke a cigarette, drink some coffee, do those other bodily functions one does in the morning, and start my day on the bicycle. So this particular morning, I'm up, it's 5:30, I have done all those things, and before I get on the bike, I'm using up the last of a tube of latex caulk, because that stuff will solidify in the tube if you don't use it up right away. So it's still dark out and quiet and silent on the road. It's about like this, but dark. We have street lights, but for the most part, it's dark here. And I'm working away, and I'm in, just a pair of natty shorts, and I happen to look out my front door, and there's this woman just leaning on my gate. like one would lean on a farm gate in Iowa. She's just leaning there, tall woman, at least 6 feet tall. Falang, which is unusual here. Any falang, a female falang alone is very unusual here. So I pick up my sign. Now my vow of silence is only an hour old, and I'm being challenged. And I'm very proud of myself for standing up to the challenge. So I go out there with my sign. You know, please forgive me, I'm not going to speak to. And she reads the sign, and she goes, she walks away. Now the thing I'm struck by is her jewelry, her accessories. I have never been face to face with a living human being who had this many facial piercings. Eyebrows, cheeks, ears, chin, lip, and one, there's a metal stainless steel bar across the bridge of her nose and 2 golden swags of chain that go to her earlobes. Like this. This is a white woman, like I said, at least 6 feet tall, just standing silently staring at me with all this stuff on her face. And when I told her I wasn't speaking, she didn't speak either. She went like this, and she walked off down the street in the darkness, alone. Nothing's going to happen to her here. It's a very safe place. I felt like she was probably looking for coffee, because that's what I did my first 2 weeks here until I found a Mr. Coffee, the only one in town, and they still haven't replaced it. There has not been a Mr. Coffee machine for sale on this beach in 2 years, because I bought the one coffee machine. So it's really hard to find coffee at that hour. For some reason, the coffee shops don't open until 10 in the morning. They're not very experienced with falang on Turtle Beach. So I thought, well, I probably should have offered her a cup of coffee, but how awkward that would have been, a strange woman in my house drinking coffee in silence. I don't know. So I go through my day, and that first day I was visited by periodically people who like this show. Yeah, how about that? Show up at my door, which is not a problem. All my videos start with my front door, right? You just watched it, I hope. Everybody knows where I live. There's only one Tai Muang in Thailand, and this is it. There's only houses on one side of the road. So people show up, and that's fine. I offer them coffee if they're cool. And so early in the morning, about 11 o'clock, 10, 11, this man shows up, very dapper, slender, South Asian man, maybe Indian perhaps, or Pakistani, Sri Lankan, I don't know. But he said, "Oh, Steve, I watch your channel. I came here to talk to you, to see you." And I held up my sign. You know, like an ape, like Coco the gorilla. And he seemed disappointed, which flattered me. And he said, okay, well, good luck with that. And he moved on down the beach. An hour later, 2 people showed up, a very attractive young couple, a young man and a young woman. She was Asian, he was falang, and they introduced themselves. I don't remember their names. I don't remember the Asian man's name. But the same thing, I hold up my sign, I make my sad face, and they said, oh, well, we're on our way from Bangkok to Malaysia, and we came here on the way specifically to visit you. Sorry. And off they went. And that was it. Those were the only challenges, but of the normal sort. And after that, that was the first day. For 2 days after that, I had no opportunity to speak to anybody except Chamnan. Didn't see anybody. Except the second day, Tuesday. Excuse me a moment. Having just learned how to edit, I would normally cut that out. But I'm not going to. The second day, on Wednesday, ครับสวัสดีครับ
พูดได้แล้ววันนี้
ได้แล้วครับพูดได้แล้ว3 วันแล้วจบแล้วปิดแล้วขอโทษครับผมถ่ายวิดีโออยู่ครับผมถ่ายวิดีโออยู่ครับขอโทษคุยไม่ได้ขอโทษครับถ่ายวิดีโอครับโอเคนะ At any rate, this is Kun Rom. I might as well introduce him.
From friend
เป็นเพื่อนใช่เป็นเพื่อนกันKun Rom sells fish on this beach, and he is the man I buy my fish from. So So where was I? Oh, the second day, Tuesday. So there's this little guy who runs a restaurant. It's called Krua Sommai. ครับขอโทษครับผมถ่ายอยู่ครับ Yeah ขอโทษครับ Yeah. I don't think he gets it. Yeah. At any rate, so this little guy came to my door and he says, Papa. So everybody calls me Papa. Steve is too hard to pronounce. So he says, you got to come help me. There's a farang in trouble. So he's just not going to go away. He's just not going to go away. So he says, there's a farang in trouble. You got to come help me. And I thought, well, okay, this I should talk about. So he does not understand social anxiety disorder, I'm sure. There's never been anybody in his family who has had social anxiety disorder. He is right at my knee. He's within a foot of me. And I just, here. ไปดีไหม
บายดีโอเค
คุณหลอมอยู่ท้ายเมืองตลอดชีวิตไหม
ใช่
อายุเท่าไหร่ครับ
70แล้ว
70แล้ว
โอเค
Oh,เป็นพี่ต้องเรียกพี่ He's 70. He is 4 years older than me. So anyway, this little guy, I've never seen him wear a shirt, but he always dresses in white pants. It's some kind of religious thing. And he owns a restaurant down here, and it's the cheapest restaurant on the beach. The rest of the restaurants on this beach are fairly expensive. It's seafood, right? Most of which this gentleman right here delivers. And so he comes, he says, there's a farang in trouble. And I knew right away. I said, Ben Puying, Chamai? He said, yes. I said, Do Thung, Chamai? He said, yes, very tall woman. I said, all right, I'm going to break the vow. The second day, halfway through it, I'm going to break the vow. So I get in his truck and we go down the street and we find this woman at George Pizza, which is at the end of the beach. And we get out of the truck and she sees me and she's motioning like this. So I go into George Pizza with Sommai. And we sit down with this woman at a table, and she's got a really beat up, what do you call it, a tablet, and a menu and her purse. And she's sitting there, this enormously tall woman, all pierced. And I said, are you all right? He's worried about you. And she went, I said, well, ma'am, if you have to think about it, you're not all right. What's going on with you? And she went, well, and I said, look, do you have a place to stay, or do you have a roof over your head? She said, yes, I'm at the garden bungalows for one more night. And then she stopped there, and I said, okay, do you have money to eat? She said, yes, I have some money. And I said, okay, well, if you know where I live, if there's anything I can do for you. And then we get up, me and Somai, to leave. And I realize I've come out of the studio wearing a pair of nasty shorts I wear because they got paint and they got glue and they got epoxy all over them. And no shirt. And I've just walked into a public restaurant dressed like a bum. So next time...
คนไทยก็ไม่ได้ครับจะติดดีว่า
So the next time, so we are being joined. I have an audience. What do you cup? I guess people are coming out to look at the ocean to see if there's fish. Thank you. Next time you hear me rail at somebody for going into immigration not appropriately dressed, or going into the 7-Eleven, or going into anywhere without a shirt on, remind Steve that he went to George Pizza. He not only broke his vow of silence, but he broke his vow of always wearing a shirt. I think that's it. I had a story to tell you. Cup. เจอกันครับ
โอเค
พี่ร่ม all right, there's a meeting taking place. Yeah, I have decided that a large part of being a professional fisherman is talking about fishing. These guys come out here and they sit and they talk and they talk and they talk and they talk. I think most of the time fishing is a solitary exercise, and when you get a chance, to talk about it, I think you take that chance. Probably your wife and children have heard everything they ever need to hear about fishing. I had a story to tell you about the red-headed white guy who used the N-word, because it has to do with speech, a thing that I avoided for 3 days. I'm not going to tell you because it's 20 minutes already. But thank you for your patience. Thank you for coming along. I'm going to look through the phone, see what else is in there that I can tack on the end of this, little bits and pieces. But otherwise, you have a great week, okay? I'm rooting for you. If you haven't found your Turtle Beach yet, I hope you find it soon. I have found mine, and I just love it. See you in a week. See, I got to buy a new phone. It's not turning off. I touch the button, I touch the button, I touch the button. Well, I hope I've learned how to edit. I wanted to, I've turned off the phone, turned it back on, cleaned the lens, and I wanted to see if it would work. It's working now, or it appears to be. So I'm going to show you some of the recent art projects. This is a Thai stop sign. Yoot! It is made of Coca-Cola and Fanta lids. The rest of it is just trash that washes up on my beach. Those are the Indi twins. Indi Don Rap, welcome to my home. This is the latest turtle. This is for Steve. This is going to go outside Steve's house before I give away any more to my neighbors. I want one for myself. I have not bothered to count how many cigarette lighters are on this bad boy. He's almost done. She is almost done. Got that bit. And then the face. The face is the hardest part. You're trying to cover an organic shape with rectangles, which is hard enough. But trying to make a face with personality out of hard plastic beach trash, that's the hardest part. This is a small turtle I'm making for the lady who sells my cigarettes. She likes gold. She wears a ton of gold. She's like a local pawn shop. People will come and fuck why they're gold with her. And that's about it. This is my palette. If you haven't been here before, all of this stuff came off the beach. Each and every individual item represents a very old man bending over to pick something off the ground. It was just Songkran, so I've still got a squirt gun. And that, I think, is all I need to show you. Now let's see if I can turn off this camera. See you next week. Well, it's magic hour. You can't really tell, but the sky is a nice shade of pink. And I'm blocking traffic. She smiled at me. I'm wearing my joke-telling hat. I am standing in front of public art. That means I must be about to tell a joke. We're going to leave this button alone. Last week, I told a joke in front of this public art. And people said, they caught a glimpse of these birds in the background. They said, Steve, why is there birds? Well, these are swiftlets. Excuse me. Swiftlets. They are a type of bird. I'm literally out in the middle of the street in front of the fresh market. I have to be careful. None of them give a rat's ass about me. Yeah, swiftlets. They create a nest out of their own saliva, which then is consumed in the form of bird's nest soup by certain connoisseurs of traditional Chinese cuisine. Not by me. These birds live in caves in the Kars and Panga Bay. They live all over Southeast Asia. But locally, they live out in the middle of the bay. And 30 years ago, when I was living on Phuket, people were shooting each other over access to these caves because they're very expensive. They're hard to get, and they're very expensive, and they're very, very cherished in China. 90% of the bird's nest soup, according to Wikipedia, consumed in the world is consumed in mainland China. But at any rate, in the 90s, somebody figured out that you could build a big building with some little perforations, and the birds would nest in there. And then you could have your own private source of bird's nest, and you wouldn't have to shoot anybody, and nobody would shoot you. You'll see these now all over South Thailand. Over 30 years, they've built thousands of the damn things. And I don't know how many are occupied, but this one is. And I don't know if you can see them up there. They're going in and out of those windows. They come and go at dawn and at dusk. Swiftlets. This is a swiftlet barn. All right. A joke about birds. Get comfortable. So if the bird of peace is a dove, what's the bird of true love? The swallow. Why did the Archaeopteryx catch the worm? Because he was an early bird. What's an owl's favorite restaurant? Hooters. You saw that coming, didn't you? This is not a bird joke, but I like it anyway. What did the elephant say to the naked man? How do you breathe through that thing? Finally, what do you do if your wife starts smoking? Well, slow down and maybe use a little lube. Be kind, rewind. All right, that's it for this week. Thank you very much for your attention. Like, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff. And I will see you in a week. I hope you take very good care of yourself for the next 7 days. And I hope that you have either found your Turtle Beach or you are on your way there. Man, I'm glad I found mine. Thanks for visiting. Bye.
Whatever shaves your sheep, whatever bakes your lamb, whatever digs your peak, whatever smokes your ham, whatever blows your nose, whatever chews your bone, whatever squirts your hose, whatever sings your song. Do it often, but do it well. Nobody knows and there's no way to tell. When you're riding, shoot down to that